interface that my mom would see on her health guide in her home. Fairly straightforward, not meant to be computer-esque, not meant to be techy and challenging, but something straightforward and simple. One of the things that most often my mom's going to see, I'll use my mom as an example. She's in her mid-70s, living alone by herself. I guess one means by herself. One of the things you're going to see most often is a reminder for her session, the thing that her doctor or her care manager set up for her to do. And so all that gets programmed behind the scenes through that web interface that Eric was talking about, the back-end software, and gets downloaded to the device here. So like an alarm clock, a simple reminder, hey, it's time to do something, whatever that something may have been programmed to be. It can be as simple as a reminder of, hey, don't forget to eat less salt today, or as complicated as actually walking you through capturing your blood pressure, taking your weight, your blood oxygen level, anything in that entire range of protocols. So we say OK here.
All of your prescribed medications over the past 24 hours?
I don't know, am I blocking your shot?
Trying to make this as friendly as possible. In addition to putting large font text on the screen so it's easy to read, and also putting in recordings, actually reading the questions or reading the statements to my mom to remind her of what she's doing. In this case, asking her if she's taking her medication. And of course, I don't know if you guys know my mom, but probably not. So in the case of no, following that up, and this is all pre-programmed by the clinicians from behind the scenes, following up, if she says no, say the same thing I would say if she was in my office, which is, that's probably a bad thing. You really should take all your medications. Why didn't you?
Does it make a tisk noise and shake?
We haven't. That's a
Does a little hand pop out of the side and shake a finger?
I like that.
That would be kind of cool.
So these again are things that we can program in behind the scenes. The same kind of interaction you get in the doctor's office, minus the tisk finger that's wagging at you for not doing the right thing. So let's see. How about I forgot? So again, in the same kind of space, actually verbalizing the answer, you can program these things behind the scenes. Walk them through an additional statement. Don't forget to take your medicine. It's important to do. Now the system goes back into the state that it was in before. So that was one case of a reminder that actually happens just spontaneously over the course of the day. And by spontaneously, it's actually programmed to happen at a certain time. So clinicians that want you to do a certain set of things at 8 in the morning, at 5 in the afternoon, it'll actually go off like an alarm clock at that time. But that's not the only time you can interact with the health guide. So what you see now is kind of the broader menu of things that are made available to my mom. What you saw here just was the Start My Health session. She ran one just a second ago. There's also the notion here of just taking measurements manually. So keeping track of your own health being an important thing that we want to get everybody encouraged to be involved in. We want to enable people to keep track of those measurements. But again, whether it's weight, blood pressure, you name it, temperature, back up to the top. For some devices, we talk about taking a measurement. We've actually automated that process, actually being able to connect devices like blood pressure cuffs to the system, so it will automatically capture and store that information and transmit it. But there are cases of technologies like, I don't know, thermometers that probably aren't going to be connected or with the radio built into them. So you can also do manual entry. Type in the temperature you might want, so 98.6, and then accept that. So in some cases, maybe things you want to capture that aren't automated, aren't connected into the system, simple to do, enter it yourself. Get back up to the home page here. Let's see, what else? One of the things that's interesting here is with this full interface you've got, as opposed to kind of your normal lab technologies that are little LCD screens, we've got a pretty rich interface here that lets us do things a little bit more interactive for the patient. So health education material, the notion of actually doing the same kind of things that we all take for granted on our PCs or our Macs at home, we can actually now do for our elders here in their homes. So, for example,
if you are watching, chances are you or someone you know has congestive heart failure. This is sometimes simply called heart failure, which means that your heart is not pumping as effectively as it should. Despite the name, heart failure doesn't.
So rather than walking you guys through the entire video about heart failure, but the notion here is we can actually deliver multimedia that we all take for granted in our daily lives. To my mom, who definitely does not take this stuff for granted. This stuff can all be downloaded behind the scenes for my mother to look at. It can be changed dynamically. It's not one set of same videos day in and day out. Any videos that a doctor or nurse wants the patient to see, they can be added in. Yes, sir, Andrew.
How do you add them?
The clinicians can add them through the web interface. So behind the network cable plugged into the internet, we have a whole set of hosted web applications. And so the clinicians actually use those applications to create this logical set of protocols. There's basically mom's schedule, calendar schedule of stuff. And as part of that, you can add new videos, you can add new PDF files, you can add new documents, or whether it's a simple text document walking through some materials, or it's an actual movie. You can add all that into the back end. That then gets synchronized to this device and then downloaded.